I would just like to say that I was privileged to do some interviews with people who came to South Africa just before the war. So the South African story of survivors is slightly different from what we talk about when we talk about people who actually survived Auschwitz, Birkenau. Because they came before the war, they are still survivors. However, they left their families behind and those families perished. Many of those people spoke to me in Yiddish, and I was able to understand them and document their stories. For some of them, it was the first time that they'd spoken about what had happened to them because their families didn't want to listen, or else they couldn't speak about it before because it was traumatic. So for that function alone, I was happy that I could communicate with them in their tongue and that they could feel comfortable with me, and that those stories are now written down is part of what we're trying to do to preserve the memories of people who otherwise would not have been taken cognizance of. And it also gave me a lot of insights into what had happened, which otherwise I would have had really no idea about. What their lifestyle was like, how they grew up, what those little girls experienced, how those little boys went to cheder from the age of 3, how they were induced to learn their letters by licking the honey on the aleph, in the dark, in the freezing cold, taken there by their mothers, dragged home, exhausted. Who would have known? And by hearing these stories actually firsthand, gave me an insight which I could then transmit by writing it down. And subsequently have written down stories of other survivors from the camps and was able to communicate with them very closely because of it, because of the Yiddish, because of the connection.